Hey guys, welcome back. So last time we got this update details page set up, but we need to style this now. So let's go ahead and open the inspector. So right click, inspect. And then let's start with the user details part. So user details class right here. And this is going to have just one line of code. All we're going to give it is a little bit of padding. So padding 20px. Just give it some padding all around. Now we'll see the green part. We have padding all around there. So real simple. Go back to style.css and then right at the bottom put user details and just padding 20px. Save that, and if you want to refresh the page, make sure it's still there, which it is. Next thing we'll do is the H2 parts. All we're going to do is make those in the center, and we can actually do this from here. We can say user details container, which is that div that these are all in, and then H2. If you remember, container is these divs here. So all we're going to put in there is text, align, and then center, just like that. And then we'll now refresh the page and we should see the H2 tags in the center, which we do. Great. And now what we're going to do is make these inputs all appear on separate lines and the button as well. So we can actually go back to the editor again and do it from here, because I know what we're going to do. We can say user details, just like above, container, just like that, and then input, square brackets, type equals text. So this is targeting all of the inputs of type text inside of the container user details divs. So we want to copy that though. We don't just want to do that. We do comma, and then underneath that change this to type password. And then finally, we can paste it again underneath. Remember your comma though, you have to have your commas between them. This won't be input type text, it will just be dot button like that, because this is our button that we used here. So all the code we ran in here will apply to the inputs and the buttons. And all we want to do is say display block, so they all appear on separate lines. And then finally, we'll give it some margin of 16 pixels top and bottom, and then auto. I've got the number written down here, so I know it's a good number, that's why. But obviously, as usual, feel free to play around with that number. Let's refresh the page and we should see all of the inputs and the buttons appear on separate lines now, which we do. And they're centered too, because we get the margin auto on the left and right. Okay, great, we're making good progress. Now let's style the actual inputs themselves. So right here, we'll do this input if you want. We're going to say height of 50 pixels, height 50 pixels, width can be 100%, we're going to span across the whole page, the available width. Background color can be, and I have this value here, 1F, 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 which is a slightly lighter grey than the background. You'll see it better when we get rid of the border, so let's say border just none, like that, and now you can see the background. It's quite subtle. Font size, let's say 18 pixels, make the text a little bit larger. Font weight, we can make this 300 pixels. Padding, we want 0 on top and bottom, and then 20 on the left and right, so it moves it in a bit. And that's it. That's all the style we want. So copy that style there. Go back to our style.css, and then we want to do something very similar to above. So user details, container, then input, square brackets, type equals text. Paste that in there, so we have that code in there now, and then copy that input type text, and we want to do the same for password. So put your comma at the end and change type text to type password, like that. Now when we refresh the page, we should see all of the text boxes looking good, which we do. There we go. Not bad at all. The very last thing to do is the message that will be displayed when they get something wrong. Well, it won't necessarily be if they get something wrong, it will just be an update for them. So if the password update was successful or something like that. So let's give this message some content first. So I'm going to click on edit as HTML. I've right clicked on the span there. I'm clicking edit as HTML. I'm just going to put something in there like email updated, like that, or something. Because at the moment we obviously don't have text in there. So I've just put some text in there so that when we style this now we can see what we're doing. And then I'm going to give this a color. I'm going to make the color of this that Spotify green that we're using. So this is 2EBD59. That's the green we're using throughout our site. And then the only other thing we're going to do is font weight. You can just say 300, and that's it. Just those 2 lines of code. So copy those 2, and then go back to our CSS file. And this is the last part of CSS we're going to do for this. Just say user details, container, and then message, which is the class of those spans. And that's it now. Save that, refresh the page, and we shouldn't see any difference because the message will disappear. But if you want to test it out, you can just stick some text in there and just make sure that it's actually styled correctly, which it is.